All right, let's do it. All right, we didn't get stood up. That's a good thing. We are live with our second episode of Slab Business. As you can see, in studio. Check out my guy. Check out my guy.
Strong.
The unicorn. The cat unicorn of the hobby.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's great.
Corey, I think Corey did it on
Your
purpose.
story's a unicorn.
He tells me that this is the only headphones that they could find. I think he's jerking me around, but it's all right.
I would never, dude. That's absolutely ridiculous. Those are actually like super expensive. No, dude. You know how much it costs to put lights in headphones?
I don't. I would never try it.
I think you're the unicorn cat of the hobby.
You put lights in stands, though. What's that cost?
I don't. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. So tonight we got a pretty awesome show, but real quick, we do have him hanging out. We're gonna just go over the Boston show and kind of close that out. We did a little impromptu stream there, which probably didn't go great. I don't think. I think the music was too loud.
I thought I did great. I had, if you back and watch it, I was dancing. I was on rhythm. I feel we were the real show if you think about it. We met Chris Costa at the Cod Vault. Interviewed him.
Wrote with him. Yeah, I mean we knew him, but
we knew him. But I'm saying it was a fun show altogether. Like you coming up to the Boston area, got to hang around with a few
cold
people.
As heck. Yeah, I'm trying not to cuss because Tim told me he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So it was cold as poop up there.
We got to meet a fine young gentleman named Jesse.
Jesse and Tony. Yeah, yep. Jesse and Tony. I see the guy in the back in the waiting room because everything's digital. I see him smiling right now.
Yeah, I think he knows him.
Or, they know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Because he's ballers roll with ballers. They were giving out a Brady card. That if you signed up for PWCC, you get a Brady card, which is pretty cool. I think the show was great. The turnout was great. I didn't get to stay, so it was a 2-day show. I only got to stay the 1 day.
Yeah.
Normally, it's only a 1-day show, but I heard that Steve Aoki was, ridiculous and everything was crazy. So,
not even that though. You got to meet Straight Fire Steve.
Yes, Straight Fire. I did meet Straight Fire Steve, and I have to say, he was underwhelmingly fire. He was a nice guy. I expected like a character, a guy with the name Straight Fire Steve.
Yeah,
like Unicorn Tim. Like you're one of a kind.
Well, I mean,
right.
I truly am one
Straight
of a kind.
Fire Steve. I feel like he's like the name was cool, but like I don't know, and maybe the mask kind of he's not out there. I feel like a guy with the nickname Straight Fire just needs to bring it at all times. No, like doesn't stop just spitting fire.
Well, and it's funny that Straight Fire Steve, because later on we have Building Fires Erik and Trash Cans.
Yes, so. Okay. That's a good segue. Now, we'll let him catch his breath before he hops in. But yes, please, guys, if you're in here, like, subscribe, do whatever you're supposed to do on YouTube, because we just want to get people to watch this so we can continue doing it. I mean, we only have our 3 sponsors right now. Slab Shield, Slab Strong, just kidding. Slab Strong and Zion cases.
And Zion and Stand Up Displays Dan.
And Stand Up Dan.
Stand Up Dan. So we got 4 right now. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually had we'll get to our last what's the word are we looking for? Sponsor in a minute.
Sponsor, yeah. We're trying to get a new one. But all right, so we're gonna talk to a guy who has the truest rags to riches story I've ever heard. Even so, Tim is a rags to like living okay story. His is like rags.
It's more like
riches.
Old T-shirts.
Yeah, but yours is
riches.
Yours is not even like hipster rag. Like
yeah.
So we'll get into it. Let me see. Oh, he might be homeless. Nope, there he is. He's back at his home. Home lost.
Yeah, home lost.
Here we go. There he is, Erik Myers.
There he is, Erik Myers. Everybody, clap it up in the comments. Erik Myers is in the building. Erik, so we were, well, first of all, good to see you because we usually only hear your voice, but we talk all the time, so it's good to see you.
Handsome man.
Yeah, man. Beautiful. So in all seriousness, before we get into the fun and learn more about Erik, a lot of you guys know him already as like one of the biggest Kobe collectors. Now you see him racking up Jordan rookies, but more importantly, his story is something that I definitely really enjoy and look up to. For me personally, we've been through, I would say, similar things. I would, Erik has been through some tough, but he's definitely come out of it like how I want to come out of everything. So I just want to say thank you for showing up, because I really mean it, that you're an inspiration. And if you don't know him, you'll learn about it now, why he's such an inspiration for us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's an honor to be here. I love talking to y'all on Clubhouse as much as possible.
Well, we get along well. And again, the rags to riches. So like you went from like dumpsters to $1 million Kobe's, and Tim went from like sleeping in his car to really not choosing to go home to like, what's your best card? David Duke Jr. So look, there are comparisons, and comparisons can be made. But why don't you give us a little background on where the collecting bug started, and then, give us the story of how you literally went from not knowing where your next meal would come to probably having and, buying, selling, and trading some of the biggest cards in the sports card hobby, and owning some of the biggest cards, particularly Kobe Bryant, that I've ever seen, and probably anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, I guess the gist of it is I grew up I love my parents. They're my heroes, right? But I grew up in a different time. I'm 43. And a pretty dysfunctional family. My mom fought alcoholism, and dad a little bit for decades, until I was 21 before my mom got sober. So early age, we didn't have a lot of money. My parents worked like 60 hours a week, never home. There was a lot. There was the abuse that went on, but not from my parents, but just outside of the family. So I found myself just falling in love with sports, just in general, just as an escape from just all the turmoil and all the stuff going on in my family unit. In the schools I went to, really violent, just a ton of racism and just gangs and stuff. So just as an escape, I found myself just engulfing all my spare time in sports with my close friends who were good influences in my life. And we didn't have smartphones or the internet back then, right? In the 80s. I don't even know if it was invented.
Which made probably the cards at better price, but the deal's hard to find.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're impossible to find, but I found myself just on my spare time memorizing all the stats and analytics of players on the sports days. You get the Sunday paper. So I go through it and memorize, see what players are tracking. And next thing you know, by the time I'm 10 or 11, 12 years old, I started flipping candy at schools. Right. So,
I used to flip candy cigarettes. You buy a carton of candy cigarettes.
Terrible influence.
Yeah. I wasn't selling Lucy's though. So I was all right. I was selling them about a pack.
The ones that like when you actually could puff in the smoke.
No, they had like the gum. I'm talking about like the ones that were like the chalk, just like a stick. It was like it tastes like a burnt marshmallow, like a cooked marshmallow.
I love those though.
Yeah.
That's like, tell me if I'm wrong, right? But the actual stick and fun dips are actually the best part of it. Am I wrong?
Yeah. It is. At some point, you just abandon the powder, which was hard for me to say for about a decade, and then you go right to the stick, right?
Yeah. Back to that.
But yeah, so and then I turned flipping candy into flipping small cards, right? Back in the 80s and early 90s. There was more card shops, so you really couldn't haggle much. And I remember trying to save up to get Walter Payton rookies, Joe Montana rookies, or just, the big.
Did you have them back then though? Did you actually end up getting them?
I did get a Montana rookie, and I think I got a Henderson rookie, and I'm not sure if I ever got a Payton rookie. But back then, $80 was about what a Henderson rookie went for raw, because they didn't have grading at that point. Right. I might have wound up getting a Payton, but I think the Payton cost me like $175. And then I later in life, I got institutionalized for about a couple of years, and I found myself.
We can skip it. Yeah, we don't need to.
Right, yeah. And then I found myself homeless due to.
So where were your cards at that point? That's what I'm interested in.
I sold everything. Like I literally liquidated everything. So I fought addiction for a while. March 3rd, I'll be clean. I think it's 15 or 16 years.
That's
March
impressive. Yeah.
So like a ton of time. I've got a lot of right. I got a lot of time under my belt.
Do you have fake teeth?
Go ahead.
Do you have veneers?
No.
How do you have such great teeth for drug addiction? That usually goes out.
I'm obsessed.
I got a candy addiction, and my teeth are wrecked.
I'm obsessed. I I think just because all the stuff
obsessive compulsive of
yeah.
what, and that's what's crazy to us. I know a lot of people in my life so successful in business, and their personalities are so addictive, right? And they're so addictive to people. They can command a room, but that same addiction takes them down the path the other way, right? So while it's so great as to build, relationships and everything else, and be funny and all that, the addiction doesn't stop there, right? You wish you could just kind of pick where you wanted it, right? And be like, oh, apply my addiction to learning about stocks, but it doesn't work. It usually crosses over to everything else.
Well, so when I wound up getting everything together, got out of jail, thankfully at the time the military was taking people with extensive backgrounds. I don't know why, but if you sign up for the infantry, so I got in the military and I actually took my military bonus. And I realized just exactly what you were saying, Corey, is that I had to learn how to channel. I am who I am, right? I've got addictive natures, I've got addictive personalities, I hyper focus on certain things. So I realized I had to learn how to channel that ability into something positive. And all I knew how to do was illegal activity or cards or be an electrician. So I was still going to do the electrician work when I got out of the military, but I needed a secondary form of income. And I took my $15,000 military bonus. It was, I think, 15 after taxes. It was 20, then minus taxes, 15K. And I just dove in, and I spent all my spare time learning about cards. I started with $150, $250 cards. I went right back to like Dan Marino's, John Elway's, right back to where I left off, And
right. And you had all the stat knowledge, because that's the thing, right? So much time is spent going when you're younger, the stuff you remember, and this is going to go into one of my other questions for you. So like the stuff you remember, I have to imagine drives your wife absolutely up a wall, because we were in a clubhouse room the other day, and you were telling in detail a deal about 4 years ago that didn't happen, but you remembered every aspect and every detail of that deal. Yeah, that didn't even happen. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Now, have you ever forgot your wife's the first time you guys ever went on a date? I'm sure. One time, 1 year, you forgot. I don't want to go as far as an anniversary, because that could just get you in hot water.
I forget it all, like all of it.
But you remember everything about every card. To hear you on Clubhouse and the detail that you put into the stories you tell about specific cards and where they came from. And I remember I did a deal with this guy, and I gave him $20K, and he took it, and it was mesmerizing, because I was also in the same sense thinking like, wow, there's no way that he has this much detail to other stuff. It can't, right?
Nope.
So it's
not even close.
Yeah,
there's a large parts of my life that are highly dysfunctional, like birthdays, anniversaries. Yeah, literally, even I'm 43. I still confuse my mother and father's birthday. Right? I can only remember stuff for whatever reason that I'm highly passionate about. I'm probably just kind of pretentious and selfish, maybe in some sort of twisted way.
Yeah, you kind of sound like an asshole. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah,
but a nice one, right? Yeah. No, well, you're just, and we all have that, right? We all pick our spots, and for me, and I'm sure Tim too, it's like kind of work. You get wrapped up in building a business or what we're doing. And
I'm just taking it easy.
Sorry, dude. Nikki's here, like right behind us, so she might start throwing stuff. So if you see something hit Tim in the head, it actually just hope it doesn't hit his unicorn.
That's true.
So yeah, that goes back. So okay, so let's recap. So you got back into it. Now, obviously, around what time are we now?
So 15 years ago, so you're 15, almost 16 years ago. So you're looking at like 05, 06.
And at that time, it wasn't, obviously it's nothing like now, but you were buying these things strictly because you loved them. And the price point wasn't anywhere near as today. So you're thinking like, I'm just buying these, that you weren't forecasting this to be an investment, or you to be the Kobe guy, or you to be, stacking Jordans and all that stuff. Right.
No, yeah. I was just trying to make an extra $200-300 a month, man. I was driving a $900 car. I was renting a room from my aunt for $300 a month when I got back into it.
Did you ever sleep in that car?
Yeah, probably. Well, that was after I got through being homeless.
Double beat, dude. He was like homeless in a sleeping.
Well, no. When I was homeless, I had no car, right? So, but I mean, when I finally got my stuff together,
this guy had a car the whole time. How weak is that? I said he had a car the whole time he was homeless. How weak is that?
Bro, that's high class homeless.
Yeah, I was sleeping
it up, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like he was like a hipster.
If you got windows, bro, you're living it up being homeless. You always got this cushion.
I know, but I used to crack the window like this. It was in South Beach, Miami, and I was so nervous about mosquitoes. And there was this mangy cat one time woke me up, and I just felt like I had to get out of there.
Right, like Erik used a mangy cat as a pillow.
Did the ladder work in your car? Did the push-in ladder work?
No. Okay. I don't know. I didn't have one. I don't think.
Okay, because if it worked, bro, that's high class right there.
That's his heating. That's his radiator.
Yeah, no, I don't think it worked though.
So, all right. So we want to. So you're collecting and buying and selling cards as a means.
Still working. Working.
Yeah, and I know. So you're working full time, and it's kind of just extra, pocket money type situation. At what point did you realize that what you were holding could potentially be life changing?
I think I bought a Nolan Ryan OPC Gem Mint rookie and a Wayne Gretzky OPC Gem Mint, both BGS 95s. And at that time, I think I bought the Nolan Ryan. I paid $11,000 for it. It was on eBay for one day, and I'd been hunting for it for years.
Wait, what year was this? How long ago was this though?
I don't remember, like 9-10 years ago.
Oh, they were still up there like that for $11K.
Well, it was a Pop One. It's the only Gem Mint Nolan Ryan rookie in OPC for Beckett. And I sold it about a year later for $34,000. And a guy flew. He had a private jet. He flew in. I think he had a private jet because I met him right there at the airport on a private jet. I think it was Addison Airport. And we just did the exchange right there, And right then, now a year had passed from the time I bought it to sold it, but I made $23,000 on that one deal, and I made another 15 on the Gretzky. So that was almost 40,000 on those two cards. And then, like, the lights came on. I had been making 300 or 400, maybe 1,500 on a card here, there, living in hog heaven at that point, right?
Yeah. But what was like the, and for me who's newer back into the hobby, what was like was it card shows where all this trading? Because you don't have a store, so like, are you going into stores? Are you just seeking out deals? Are you?
A lot of it was eBay and networking off eBay, right? So you meet people on eBay, and you become their friend, and they introduce you to a couple people on a phone, a text message, and you really had to remember a lot of stuff. You had to be really diligent about what you logged in your phone because you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have Facebook, you didn't have all these social media outlets in which you could just, just type in the first three letters of the name and boom, they pop up, right? And then you've got all these previous conversations of all that stuff. You really had to actually put the grind in and the work to be diligent about saving all your contact information in your phone. That was your lifeline. Your phone was everything you had at that point, or your eBay contact messages. Because once you do a couple deals on eBay, then you built some type of reputation, and then you carried on with that reputation. But so we started, me and Kyle Robertson. He now solely pretty much runs the Dallas Card Show.
Yeah,
where I'll be this weekend. When we started that thing, a couple other people. Our first show we had, was it 10 or 12 years ago? About 10, 12 years ago, around a decade ago. There was only 8 tables. But there was no other shows in Dallas. Other than that, we had to wait for the TriStar show in Houston once or twice a year. Or go to the National.
So I guess the takeaway there is cards had the like Grail cards always commanded 10, 15, 20,000. Like, it was never a situation where cards went from worth nothing to worth something. Like, I know there was always card shows and stuff. And you talk to dealers, they've been in it for so long. So, and I guess it's kind of new to me that the prices are where they are, because it just seems astronomically insane. But so at that point you're buying, and then so you sell the one card, and then are you still working other jobs then?
Oh yeah, I've never not worked. I mean, once I got clean, I haven't.
Well, yeah, but now you're working and you're
no, but I mean in general, no matter how much money no matter how much money I made in a year on cards, I never contemplated not working and just doing that. Even though
you never looked at it like it was your job. Like when I saw you in Dallas the first time, you still had it. You weren't with PWCC, so you still had
Yeah, I was a superintendent for electrical company at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a licensed journeyman. I'm licensed in multiple states. I've been a project manager, superintendent.
This guy's like he's like Superman.
It's like a
Like he
it's like a
goes home
Renaissance
and he's like a
Superman.
superintendent, and then when he shows up at a car show,
No, not a superintendent. He's
I
not a
saw
s-
him at walking down at the Dallas show, and I was like, oh my god, that's Erik. Somebody was like, dude, you need to talk to that guy.
Whatever.
He's got the sickest Kobe collection. And I remember you were with Sasha T and all like the big guys of the hobby. No, you weren't with Tim. We I don't even think you were there. But I was thinking about it. I couldn't have imagined at that point you went home to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like I thought, like this guy's got hundreds of thousands of dollars, which
You're a superstar.
yeah.
Well, the weird part is, so most of my collecting career, my revenue from cards far outweighed my revenue from working. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've had conversations with friends or family members like, Erik, why don't you just do it full time? But all I could think of inside was, I remember how bad it was to have nothing. And I was always afraid that cards could go back to nothing. And if they did, what would I have? So it has been probably detrimental to a lot of my relationships in the past. The fact that I would work 40, 50, 60 hours a week working and then work another 40 or 50 hours. We're doing cards and research and traveling and stuff. So I can understand that, but it's just, I don't know, man. I don't ever want to go back to how things were in the past. So I think at some point,
yeah, it's almost like a fight or flight thing, and you're
it's almost
flying.
Like,
you don't want
to a certain degree, like PTSD, right? Like it was so traumatic between jail and living on the streets and under bridge and stuff. All that stuff was so traumatic that once I got the taste of success, I have been sprinting so hard for so long. Now I don't know anything else. Now, thankfully, now I have a job that is in the card industry, so that I'm very grateful for that. But this is actually, I started there at PWCC in March. So this is the first time in 15 or 16 years that I've had a job that was anything related to not doing. I was a weapons engineer. So I was director of operations for a weapons company.
yes,
weapons
made
engineer
a highly ridiculous gun for Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, I built a gun for Shaq.
That thing is dope. Yeah. So
Yes.
that I guess that then leads us to like Tim. I mean, how's he like so far? You guys are both in the same position.
Are we?
I mean, yeah. Like, where's your struggle, dude? Like, where's your drive and where's your drive and determination never to get back? It was because he was eating out of dumpsters. You were actually just taking people's leftovers.
All right, so let's talk, because we have a lot of fun, Erik. And the one thing I appreciate about you, Erik, is you're not shy about anything that you've been through, and we honestly laugh a bunch about it. So I just want to talk to you about when we say the struggle and what he's trying to get at. So we were talking the other day, and how do I say this without making so?
Just say it.
You've eaten out of garbage before.
Oh yeah,
the trash, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
We were laughing because we were trying to compare who was the most homeless between us. So let's talk about that for a second.
I would say that you were just smarter because you got it before it made it to the.
Thank you. All right, that's okay. So
there's truth to that. That's a lot of truth.
Yeah, like he was just
lazy. He lives in Miami, though, man. I mean, like they take 2 bites and throw the rest away, because they've all got like that stomach reduction surgery. So
yeah,
but his was like a
silicone.
You just waited to the actually. I don't know, because you were probably smarter. Like you knew where the food was coming, so it's all.
No, I was a moron.
You went to the end.
I was a moron.
Where he went out and sought different. Oh, let me put this out and pick and choose what I want to eat.
Yeah. So, but totally different situation. So I was in Miami, and where it's just the street is just all hotels. Even the bars above them, like Mangoes and Wet Willie's, is all apartments or hotels above it. So at that point, and I say this as not to, obviously we were stealing, but it wasn't because we had just eaten. We were literally truly hungry and needed something. So what we used to do is, and I was actually, I don't know if you guys ever know this before, so I was actually homeless with 4 other people. We drove down to Miami and had nothing. We were trying to make it.
I don't think that's how that works.
It is.
Like, just because you're with the people, like, so what if one of them got a home? Is it all broken up?
Well,
Yeah.
so we did get we did get an apartment though. We had a studio apartment, 2 mattresses, 5 dudes.
So you weren't homeless
after we were homeless. We saved up enough money to get an apartment.
Okay. So you were like a homeless posse.
Yo, listen, we were rolling deep down South Beach. I got pictures still. We were rolling.
He was smart. He was smart. He had a homeless posse.
Yeah, dude. What were you doing? You were just doing it by yourself like a dope?
Yeah, just kept tripping and hitting my face in the ground, apparently.
Did you have any homeless pet friends? Was there a raccoon you had to fight or a squirrel that was stealing your nuts? Like, just talk to me about if you had a stray dog or anything like that.
I actually, right before I came homeless, I used to breed blue pit bulls, and there towards the end, and then people, because I couldn't do it anymore, because right before I was coming homeless, I was in the process of losing everything. I still had my blue pit. His name was Jixer. I used to have a GSXR Suzuki, right? And so I named my dog Jixer, and I actually had to give him away. I gave my cat away to my best friend.
This is exactly like last episode when he made some comment about a guy, my friend dancing, who can't dance, and you just did it again. You asked the guy about a dog, and he had to give his dog away right before.
I gave my dog away, and dude, that haunts me to the day, bro.
Yeah, but so why did you? So you knew that you were going downhill? Is that why?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I saw the light of the tunnel, bro. I mean, it wasn't like I woke up and all of a sudden I'm in the trees or under a bridge. Not like
you're the most well-planned homeless person I've ever met.
I was horribly planned.
But you were planned to get there. You're like, I'm going there. I need to make I need to put the right things in place. I need to sell all my cards.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of my animals. And I'm just going to ride into the homeless sunset, where he hopped in a car with 4 dudes and probably shit just didn't work out. So he was homeless.
Dude, I built race motors for a while. I had a Mustang coupe that ran like mid-8s and a quarter. This one was nitrous fed. Normally I did superchargers. All aluminum 347 stroker. I mean, K members. Basically the whole front end was tubed. I sold my trailer. On the way down, I sold my drag car, my trailer, all that stuff on the way down. So
yeah, they say, I mean, and that's again the personality, like what made you probably build that car. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, here he is throwing me off with the great comments from all the great people. But no, so again, like you're spending all your time building cars and all your money on that.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just spend time building a house?
Right, you could have had the sickest house.
So that's funny, because if I move back to Texas, right. My family asks me that now, like, Eric, when you move back to Texas, you get a nice house. I'm probably going to get like 20 acres on a triple wide. I swear to God.
Yeah. So the house it's just not your thing.
It's not my thing, man. I just rather.
I do want to ask you a question about. It's something, like I said. I'll stop saying it now, but we have talked before off thing about our journeys. So I want to talk about maybe the first time that you had to eat either stolen food or out of the trash. And then towards the end, when it's just kind of part of your routine, but then now it turns into, oh, that person left a whole slice. Like the feeling from when you're embarrassed to, okay, now I need that food, and talk about how it's actually like a good feeling. Like we've talked about cigarettes before, but talk about what it's like to start that way and then end it.
I think the hardest part for me, because I'm a picky eater, like very, very picky eater. So to have to be picky or to be picky and then to overcome that because you're just freaking hungry, right? So like if you're looking at food at dumpsters at McDonald's, people, the trash cans or whatever, because it was in Dallas, right? So it's a little different mentality. It's a little not as jazzy as Miami, right? So that was the hardest thing for me to get past, that whole gagging or something because you don't like the food, to just eating it, And I learned to live on my favorite food. Well, so I'll answer your question. So that was the hardest thing to get over. The embarrassment, it was there up until almost the very end, because I was only homeless for like 15, 18 months, something like that, around that time period.
That's a long time, though. I was homeless for 2 different periods, 3 months at the most each, though.
He's such a hipster home. I mean,
no, but that's cool.
Does he really wear the badge, though?
You got to just touch it, and be like, hey,
I know, but like, does he really like?
I'm sorry.
No, it's still the same, man. It's still the same,
right.
But I found for me though that the rock bottom lit the fire. Now I wish it wouldn't have happened that way, but it still happened that way, right? Like I had to hit that bottom for that fire to be lit. But along the process, and more importantly than cards, like my biggest passion is I met my wife doing service work at a tornado cleanup outside of Dallas. The day after Christmas, a tornado went through Rockwall and Rowlett and just leveled large areas of homes and stuff, right? So I'm always doing service work now, going into prison systems, juvenile detention systems for minors. So for me, I don't think I would be that motivated to help people around me had I not been there. So that's the biggest, that I'm probably truly grateful for that I went through my bad times, because I don't think I would be that compassionate of a person had I not went through that.
Yeah,
We got big Kev.
I kind of agree with him. It sounds like you just ran out of money.
Well, I went down there with no money though. I ran out of money before I went down there.
Right, so you ill-planned him.
So when we drove down to Miami, I was in a 2000 Ford Focus. I was with 4 other guys. We slept in that Ford Focus for 3 months.
Wow.
On the way down, I know nothing about cars. I'm not going to try. Something burst in the engine, just a pipe, whatever, to where we would drive a mile. I would have to put the car in neutral, turn the car off, turn it on, and hit drive again. From West Palm Beach all the way down to Miami, we drove like that, and then ended up.
Sounds like a radiator hose.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I can't even change the tire.
Overheating. Yeah.
But so then what I would do is I would call AAA. I was homeless with a AAA account, by the way.
I mean, we're poking bigger holes into this thing
So I would call AAA and have them tow me 100 miles down the Florida Turnpike to not go through any tolls. And then we would go sleep.
You just sound.
That's smart.
Yeah, I don't understand why
smart.
That's smart.
We're trying to figure out.
I'm over here living off. So, what was the snobbiest food that you enjoyed? Like, what was your this is like when you're homeless. Like, what's the one thing that like your apex?
Don't look at me.
Yeah, because
my parents are in the chat. Because he's like, the whole time.
Because he's saying this is all right. So this is a true story. I won't say the names involved, but people came down, and we kind of latched on to this chick that was dating the guy that came down. So he was like, "Oh yeah, bring your friends." Now this guy did not know. Trust me, this guy did not know
what he signed up for.
Yeah. So he takes us to this place, and it's right on First Street. So he's like, "Order whatever you want." Now I love shrimp. I came out, I was pissed. It was one giant. It might have been a crayfish. I don't know what he ordered me, but it was one big shrimp. Now, right? So I don't even know how to crack this
big shrimp. What is it?
It was like a crayfish or something.
Lobster?
Yeah, it was like, no, it wasn't a lobster. Though. I know what a lobster is.
That's kind of.
So check this out. So now we're like he's feeding us. So we start ordering food. Now keep in mind, at this point, now we're drinking too. And the guy said, we said to the bartender, like, give us another bottle. Like we were ordering bottles of like champagne. And the guy says to the bartender, no, don't give it to him. He turns around. We go, give us 2. They end up giving us 2. The next day, the same hotel where we used to go steal food from, he was staying there, invited us. There was a lazy river. We hopped in the lazy river, ordered $25 hamburgers on his room. Living.
I mean, again, that doesn't
awesome.
sound right. Like,
what do you
sound like you're on spring break?
It's not
with a little bit of
Miami.
money. With no
He's
money.
in Miami.
Yeah, so we showed up in Miami New Year's Eve 2006.
Like, if you documented this now, you would be like an Instagram famous person who chose to live in their car. I mean, you know what they all do? They turn their van into like a camper, and then they just go like live in a tiny house.
When the summer hit, so what did you do? So for me, I know like Texas is different, right? So even in the winter, it's relatively warm there. So I think the coldest moment or the coldest place I lived was still in Miami. But what we used to do is go down to South Beach and dig holes and then push all the sand up to one side so it'd be like a pillow. So what was Dallas like though? Because I know that summer's hot, but the night is cold. So like, how is that for you? Like, what did you do?
Oh, dude, it gets like single digits cold in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this guy's like, oh, it got down to like 52, and I had to put some sand over my feet. My toes.
It definitely makes you question your life decisions.
Yeah.
Would you rather be? See, I can't really sleep in the heat. Would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Well, too cold because you can always get clothes from donation places. and stack that up. And that's what they do, right? Like you'll have bags of clothes that you accumulate through the summer that are from donation places, and then those are what they're going to wear. The hardest thing is socks. That's the one thing that's the hardest to come by, and that you need pretty much the most, because your shoes deteriorate really fast if you don't wear socks, and they start smelling really bad. So, but at some point you just abandon that. That was the hardest thing to let go of, was socks. That, and the one thing that I lived on the most, and that I was like homeless snob when I would go to grocery store, however I would get the items, was it had to be Peter Pan, right? It had to be Peter Pan crunchy peanut butter, like extra crunchy peanut butter, not Jif,
here we go. Actually,
none of that other stuff. Yeah. It had to be, well, because peanut butter was high in calories and high in fat, right? So you could stretch that out, and it could stay. Once you open it, you didn't have to put it in the refrigerator, right? So it could stay in any temperature setting.
So when you were eating homeless peanut butter and you probably used your finger, did you wash your finger? Because the next day you'd wake up and that thing would be like encrusted on there. You could never get it off.
No, because you could
walk in utensil.
Sometimes you could walk into McDonald's or something to use the restroom, and on your way out, you just grab a couple of those plastic cutleries, right?
Well, I don't understand why neither of you just went to like Chipotle. I guess the mobile ordering wasn't there. They just got food on the rack.
They didn't have Chipotle back then.
Like, oh yeah, I'm Joe Johnson. That's my meal.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, and Stephanie's me too.
Yeah. See, he come in with like a wig.
We used to. This is you're gonna be. I mean, so we used to like just do our thing on South Beach and get people would invite us to our hotel rooms. I slept in this dude. I forget his name. I want to say this dude from Chicago invited us to a hotel room and left for 3 days, and we stayed in his hotel for 3 days.
No way,
bro! It was the craziest thing. But he was selling. He came on like a bus from Chicago, and he was selling incense as hashish. And he was, I don't know what his, I wish I could remember his name. It was so funny. But we stayed in a hotel room for 3 days. We would meet girls, and we would stay at their house or whatever for 3 days. But we were like, well, we used to.
Why did you quit being homeless? If that was your
life, right? The dude lives in like Providence. It's cold as shit, and like, I don't know, man.
Well, why would I stop being shit? So when we stopped being homeless is when it was actually a worse situation, because we were staying in a studio apartment with 2 mattresses. The mattresses were already in the studio apartment when we got there. That's not number one, which I'm sure he would love that anyways. But and then I think like a hurricane had hit down there. We were living in Hollywood, Florida at that time, and it flooded the studio apartment. Like water came through the AC. But we had a TV with DirecTV on it, though.
See, yeah. I mean, this guy, like, pick your right. No, they don't have. They're using homeless or like used mattresses that were left there, but they have DirecTV in probably every channel you can imagine. Like, all right, we're gonna move on from the homeless thing, and to do that, we're gonna play a game. Now, you're not here to do this, so you can just have fun watching. It's called Bean Boozled. All right.
Okay.
Now, so the way it works, these are Jelly Belly jelly beans, right? And they're matching colors. So it's essentially like a Russian roulette. So we're gonna do 2 rounds. We pop them open. So you're either gonna get liver and onions or cappuccino, rotten egg or butter popcorn. That one is both bad. Barf or peach. Booger or pear, stinky socks or tutti frutti, old bandage or pomegranate, toothpaste or blueberry, stink bug, toasted marshmallow, dirty dishwater or birthday cake, or dead fish or strawberry banana. And I'm telling you, dude, when these things, I mean, we got a trash can around here that doesn't have any dinner in it.
I'm not spinning it out, bro.
Why are you doing this? This is
because this is what we're gonna do. Here, I got an idea because we didn't talk about this before.
Oh yeah.
If I pick the terrible flavor, I have to tell the most embarrassing story of my homelessness. If I pick the actual good flavor, you have to tell the most embarrassing or some embarrassing stories. It's got to be embarrassing though. You can't be sitting there with like a grin on your face. I want you to really feel bad for yourself.
I don't know if I have any embarrassing stories, but I'll try to come up with something.
Just make one up.
All right.
And Eric asked a question. I mean, Richard asked a question, and he wants me to ask it again. So just tell me what it is because I don't see it. I wasn't watching the chat for a while.
Oh,
All right.
I want to know how often Erik and Tim got tutti frutti while they were homeless.
Oh, that's a good one.
No tutti frutti being homeless. You get no tutti frutti.
Yeah,
Not
but
one.
mostly because I was in South Beach and there was just sand everywhere. If you know what I'm saying.
I bet there was sand everywhere.
Bro. All right, here we go. I'm going to take the first bite. If I pick a good flavor, it's your turn. If I pick a bad flavor, my turn.
All right. So yours is either going to be rotten egg or popcorn.
This one's for you, Easy E.
Rotten egg or popcorn. Mine's either going to be barf or peach.
It's rotten egg.
Oh, it's like a barf.
Oh,
wait.
Oh my God.
Why would we,
Oh my God.
Why are we doing this
like
live?
Barf.
Hey, if you notice, hey, Erik. Everyone, I want.
Oh my God, dude.
I want everyone to notice that the only person who hasn't been homeless here is the only one. I'm swallowing this bad boy, Erik.
Oh my God.
He's weak. I had some rotten eggs. That tasted great. For the best eggs on South Beach, it's called Ocean's 10, actually. It's right on Ocean Drive, by the way. Ocean's 10. Best eggs in Miami. Well, you want to go again?
No,
wait.
You're going again. I don't think.
Wait,
you
no, I gotta pick.
One.
I gotta pick an embarrassing story.
All right, just eat those two.
Are we playing the game?
I feel like you like these.
All right, here we go. Which one's this?
Right.
Why are we doing this for Erik though?
I love it. I'm all right.
How did we decide this is what we're doing for Erik? All right, what do I got? What is this one? What can this one be?
This one's gonna be stink bug or toasted marshmallow.
Well, you have stink bugs in Texas. Huh?
Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
Dude, how'd you eat a rotten egg like that? Oh my God, I can still taste the barf. It literally tastes like
Stop doing that.
I
don't know. What was it supposed to be?
Stink bug or toasted marshmallow?
Toasted marshmallow.
Oh, come on.
Your turn.
Okay. Dude, so I was trying to get a job at this radio agency. God, this is so embarrassing.
Yeah, no, it's too late.
Yeah, and there's must have been like 30 people in the interview, right? And doing through the process. And they were asking questions. And the person that was directing it said, well, just ask the crackhead in the back. And they were pointing at me. And I was just freaking embarrassed, dude. Because I was still high at that time. I was still using this. I swear to God, dude.
I was going to say, because I was still so high on crack at that moment.
I was, dude. I mean, because this was 16, 17 years ago. I mean, decade, and I hadn't got sober yet. And that's one of the most embarrassing moments of career in my life.
Now, has Tony had to ever ask a question and then ask Jesse the same way? Hey, can you ask that crackhead in the back? Because
that'd be hilarious. I'd laugh at it now. I wasn't laughing then.
Yeah, Richard, I think this is so true. All right, last one for Tim, and then we're gonna move on to
all right. What can this one be?
Cards. That's either gonna be dead fish or strawberry banana.
Oh yeah, dead fish, baby.
Come on.
Oh, you can't smell it.
Strawberry banana.
Son of a bitch. All right. Well, that was segment brought to you by Jelly Belly. These guys, I mean, this shit is disgusting.
So the first time, I think the first time that Corey and I got into the conversation about this, and this is kind of probably the beginning of why, even before we met you, well, I didn't meet him yet. Why we started even having these conversations is because he gave me the same. We just did the same game, but I got sour milk, and I'm sitting there chewing it, and I was eating it, and Corey's like, "Tim, you don't have to keep eating.
You don't have to finish it, dude. Like if it's bad, like spit it out." He's like, "Oh, it's bad, but I mean, it's still a Jelly Belly. I don't want to waste it."
Yeah, it's still food though.
Forget that.
Okay, you see how you get bougie though? You see how like you think I'm the bougie one and just
right. Okay, so Your homeless
I'm
journey was
bougie now.
here. Right. So he went from here to here. You just started up here and went to like here.
Yo, I swear to you, I'm eating worse since. Unless you're making the meal, Nikki. I'm so sorry. She almost just. But like, I'm eating worse. I promise you, I ate so good. It makes no sense, but I ate so good.
I ate the best I've ever eaten in my life when I was in the military. It was at Fort Gordon in Georgia on Fridays for dinner. They had, now this is of course in America, when I was on base in America, Fort Gordon. Every Friday you could go through the line as many times as you wanted, right? I think they were only open for like an hour, but you had to pick from king crab or New York strip. No joke. So I would go through the line. I would get there early. I go through the line, grab my New York strip, set it down on the table, and then get right back in line, go through, get king crab and come back. Every Friday I was eating New York strip.
I mean, I guess honestly, why are we
Well,
shocked? That's how it should be.
Yeah, listen, I went
like
to
soldiers should be eating that.
Loved it.
Like we shouldn't be shocked that they were eating that. They should be eating that every night.
I was shocked
for what they give up.
I was shocked.
Right. But for what they give up, I mean, that's who should be eating that, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, you make no money. I think.
Not even like a turkey leg.
No, or like those big ass like things that they used to have in, like cartoons of Fred Flintstone ate, like those big old brontosaurus things,
I think
like a
turkey
huge
leg.
piece.
I think an E1 nowadays.
Yeah.
Now, I was in E5 by the time I left, but an E1 back then, their net pay for the month was right at $1,080 for a month.
Yeah.
So they don't get
and right. So eating that, they're not going to eat that. They're not ever going to buy that. Or
right. Yeah. I mean, you get $1,100 a month for your paycheck, but you're putting in 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah. Here's
so they eat like kings.
Tim's new rap song. Drake's going to drop it for him.
Started from the middle. In the middle.
And he's still there.
Now I'm here.
Now, what's wrong with that? I don't understand.
Started from the middle, now he's here.
If I knew how to spell plateau, I would say I would plateau it and write a message. No, so Erik, when did your homelessness end? When you got a home?
No.
Are you
so
still?
How are you going to answer this?
My mom, get this. So every once in a while, my mom would pick me up and take me to get a haircut, like once every 6-8 weeks, right? Once every few months. Give me something to eat. She was still trying to help me a little bit. It's sometimes about every 3 months. And she took me to this place by our house to get a haircut. And this is well into it. And the guy told me if I could get, and I would be doing day labor every once in a while, like maybe once or twice a month. I get a job doing like a day's labor or something. They pay me at the end of the day. So he's like, hey, I'll let you rent a room by the week if you can get a job and stay sober. And I eventually started doing day labor. I'd gotten sober just a little bit. So I got sober March 3rd. And I wouldn't have gotten sober then, except for the fact that my foreman at the time, I remember I was on the job one day that night. I came up to the foreman and said, hey man, I know I'm doing a horrible job. I'm like looking like a chicken running around with his head cut off. I've been doing it for years, but then I looked horrible because I was coming down off drugs.
I was going to say you didn't have your caffeine.
No, yeah, I was not moving at peak efficiency. And the weirdest thing though, his name was Fred, and he put his hand on my shoulder and he goes, Erik. And I told him, I said, look, I need this job, dude. I've been clean like 24 hours. I need to get my stuff together, man. I'm living on the streets. I don't have nothing. Can you just please give me 2 weeks to dry out a little bit? And I promise you I'll be the best employee you ever had. And he was just blown away that I was that honest with him. I literally started that day and he told me he was going to fire me at the end of that day. But it just so happened that on March 1st, 2 days before, he had got his 1 year sobriety. So he goes, Erik, if you stay sober, you will always have a job for me. And I followed him around. So I followed him around for 6 months. I joined the military. When I got out of the military, I went back to working for him. God, for years and years, And,
so do you still talk to him now? Like, do you still?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you let him know that you now own a $300 teddy bear?
Oh, so he's not going away. So when I got out of the military,
I have a $300 teddy bear.
When I got out of the military, remember I started buying and selling cards.
Yeah.
And I was still renting a room for my aunt, and I had that 15 grand. He's like, "You gonna get a house? You gonna do this? You gonna do that?" I was like, "No, I'm buying and selling cards on the side." And he about hit me. And then a few months goes by, and I'm selling. Maybe about a year goes by, and then I'm buying Jordan 9.5s. Jordan 9.5s for $3,800. And they got up, and he was just blown away. He's like, "You're a freaking moron." I remember the day I told him I bought my BGS 10 Jordan rookie a few years later, even probably 7-8 years it went by, for 78 or 79,000, and he about lost it. I mean, all my coworkers, they thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. And then I went from there to Bitcoin. They thought that was stupid. Bitcoin was $210 a coin. They thought it was going to plummet to zero.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so weird because the conviction. So like sports cards for me, with the secondary business of it, right? So I'm not only trying to explain that I'm not into sports cars, because when you say it fast, people just like, oh yeah, nice. You're into $70,000-$80,000. Like, did you see a record sports card sold? They're like, yeah. Oh, what was it, like a Porsche? You're like, no, sports card. Like a little picture of a guy on a thing sold for $5 million. But now I'm like, yeah. So not only what business are you in? Oh, I make displays so grown men can put their sports cards on the wall that are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. To somebody who doesn't understand it, they always quickly research it. And obviously, as we both know, the market is just absolutely insane.
I protect protective cases.
Yeah. Both important. Both very important.
Yes, right? Well, so let's get into that. You got anything you can show us from your collection?
So, Erik.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, dude. I drove down. Let's see. What did it take me, like 6 hours today?
What do you got? Take a pee break?
No. Hey, do you mind if I grab a bite to eat while you show off the cards?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool.
So here's you see, that's a true gem.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks, bro. Really appreciate you. Oh man,
awesome. I bet you've been waiting on that joke the whole time.
He picked the perfect time to put it out there, though. I got to give it to him.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was just gonna shove it down our throats. That was well.
He didn't even. Corey didn't even know. But
cool.
So real shit. I was planning that joke out, and Corey spit up all over the box, bro. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, dude. I threw up in that trash can,
bro. Do you know how hungry shit is, bro?
So let's see.
But anyways,
all right. The rags to riches continues now, and then so we're gonna go back to the rags to riches to started. Thank you, Richard. Started to the middle. Now you're here. Tim's gonna show off one of his big cards after you show off one of yours.
I got a big card.
So here's a True Gem Plus with 10 centering Jordan rookie. So
that's the one you tried to cross?
No, I didn't try to cross this one. Maybe I should have. Maybe in hindsight.
I don't think not cross. You tried to bump.
Yeah, it's not going to bump. I mean, it is what it is. It truly is.
They're not going to do it.
No, I dropped off a handful of them. They didn't bump any of them. But why? I'll probably send some to PSA and see.
No, I could see that happening, but I still don't think PSA is going to cross it. Honestly, just because it's such a prestigious card. So for everybody watching, what's that? That's a $70,000 one.
No, that's probably. I paid $93 for that. That's what I paid for it. $93,000.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't find a True Gem Plus with 10 centering for under about 110 now.
What do you got?
All right, my turn. This is a. Are we really comparing my cards? All right, so I guess we're comparing cards now. This was actually, I got this for free from a kind young gentleman in New York City named Richard. I don't know if you know the guy, but I got this for free. Gem Mint 9, Chipper Jones rookie with a
way undervalued, dude. I love Chipper Jones.
Yeah.
See, I love Erik. He can make everybody feel good.
Yeah, thank you,
Erik.
Erik.
About your dog shit card.
Thanks.
Dude, Chipper Jones is like, he's a hard worker. That dude was.
You got your balls? Can we see your balls?
Yeah, do you guys have Babe Ruth baseballs? You make yourself laugh on that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
We got a question. Someone's asking if you have a black label. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Ooh.
Yep. I got a picture of my cousin hold both his balls at the National.
Yeah, remember that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That was after a short night of drinking, not even a long one. I don't know what you guys were with that.
So what those things are worth what?
I bought that baseball I bought from Leland's for 106 like 8 months ago. It's probably worth 120, 125, you know.
Okay, so that's a question I've always wondered. When you're perusing auctions, do you have a plan in place or things you're seeking out that you strategically go, okay, I'm going to go to this? Or how do you how often have you just got caught in an auction where you're like, I'm not like, mine's bigger than yours, I'm winning this?
That was it. That was the last one, that ball. Normally I have a number set in my head and this is where I'm going. Like I just bought that upper deck dual auto King Griffey Jr. Mickey Mantle, the BGS 9510. My max on it was 60. I said, that's the absolute ceiling I'm doing. I want it for 58. And the underbidder reached out to me. He goes, congrats, I was the underbidder. And I said, man, had you gone one more bid, I was out. Like that was all I was doing on it. So he congratulated me. But no, that Babe Ruth baseball, I was hoping to get for like 75 or 80. And it hit 90, 95, 100. And I probably would have went to 120. But and the weird part was I had bought, it caused a rift in my family a little bit because 2 months before I had bought another Ruth ball that looked equally as good for 130 from a guy in Tampa, my buddy Mike. And so that I just wanted the one that I bought. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just keep that one. And then this one I just showed up. And
right, you just got caught in it. So do you have like an account that like okay, this is my because I mean, I don't know, I feel like $190,000 to $120,000, like that's not like normal people don't really have that in cash or like liquid just because of it, there's no money in it, right? Like you're not making money on your money with those kind of numbers. So like, do you have an account or do you have to move a card, like sell something to get something?
Usually, no, I got the liquidity on hand. It depends. Like, so that ball I don't know what I had recently moved, but I moved.
I mean, he really went from rags to riches. Like that, like he just said that he's just
yeah. But what do you want me to do though? You look at me like you're looking at me like
yeah.
I guess am I allowed to struggle? We're still a little early in your journey.
Yeah, I mean, hey, where a person is in their chapter in life is just where they're at. You never know where they were before or where they're going to go next.
Yeah, brother, listen, now that I can see you face to face, I'll tell you this story so you can actually see. So we meet, I think everyone knows by now you work for PWCC. We meet the owner, unbelievable guys, Jesse and Tony. We meet those guys. They're unbelievable, like real easy to talk to. And so we tell him like, hey, we're good friends with Erik. We're going to have him on and we're going to like bust his balls a little bit. And we're going to talk about the homeless situation. And so he starts to say, oh yeah, Erik's been through a bunch, and then looks at me, bro. I swear to God, he stared right into my soul. And he was like, not to say that you haven't struggled. And I was like, oh no, Erik's way better homeless person than I am. Don't worry about that. Like I'm good. I had good food all this time. So it was just, oh bro, it was so funny to talk to him and for him to, so like what, like how, like with those guys, right? They're bosses, owners, but they seem like really good people. They must know about all your stories and everything and how you are. So how is that as a feeling for, like, I'm happy that like you guys have all accepted me.
Also, you must make them so much money because you give them such headaches.
Yeah.
Like you must
I cause a few headaches.
Yeah, I was just having the conversations with them. Like, it's like they know nothing you do is like out of any kind of like
malicious
intent or trying to take. You're a guy who you're a stand-up guy who stands up for himself, right? So
yeah.
And that sometimes picks a political line, not political, but political in the hobby, meaning like a hot button. But where they're just like, PWCC is this machine, and it doesn't make decisions on this or that. It doesn't say where you stand, regardless of what anybody says to you, right? And that's what I've tried to do with my business. I've gotten into some issues, it gets personal, right? But so back to like, you got to be really good at your job.
I'm above average. I'm not the best. I mean, there's I think one or two maybe reps that are probably better than me. That's a difficult.
Can we have their
line.
names then so we can interview them?
Yeah,
The
we
hell
gotta
is
go.
this?
Yeah.
Hell no, forget them. No, I mean, but that's a difficult line to cross because I've been my own entity in this card world, making tons of money for a decade and a half. So now, and I'm okay. I love PWCC, but now I have a boss. I have to answer to somebody. It's difficult because I don't want to feel like I'm selling myself short and join the corporate, ideology of how most auction houses or most corporations run. Right? It's more of a bland, monotone type answer. It's like the PC answer, right?
Yep.
Hopefully, at some point, they utilize the fact that, dude, Eric's just gonna be Eric. He's gonna be honest. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna do his due diligence. But from my perspective, honestly, people who actually go out to card shows and who put boots on the ground that are there, our hobby in our industry wants somebody that's just genuine and honest. Hey, this is what I've done. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm buying. Not only this is what I'm buying. Like when we talk about, Eric, where'd you get that Jordan Ricky the ball? This is what I bought. This is what I paid for it. And this is what I'm probably not sell it for. Like I'm transparent about everything. Like, I mean,
do you find that, so I know it's helped me, like all the struggles in the past have just, you kind of block out all the nonsense to when you're in either like business mode or sell mode. Like it has helped me so much. I don't.
Oh yeah.
If someone doesn't like my product or doesn't want to buy a card from me, I'm sure you don't take it personal anymore.
No. I mean, yeah. And on top of that, because I've been at the bottom and because I go into prisons and juvenile detention centers and help people, you don't have to buy from me. You don't even have to like me. But if you need something, call me and I'll be there to help you. Even if you don't even like me as a person, or if I rubbed you the wrong way, if I said something that offended you, I apologize. I will still go above and beyond because it took me a while to realize my behavior isn't contingent upon how you treat me. As a man, I have my own set of principles and morals and values of how I'm going to treat other people. Even if they don't like me or if they're mean to me, I'm still going to be cordial and respectful to them because my behavior isn't based on your behavior towards me. It's my behavior. And this is just who Eric is. And it took me a long time to realize that. But coming from poverty and coming out of that, I had to formulate a foundation of who I am. And then I stand on that. And as people, because once you're in the hobby for a long time, you'll find people that like you, people that don't like you. And sometimes they flip-flop back and forth, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
like, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw you at Dallas, you were the guy had a shirt like that. So first off, I'm thinking that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
A silk shirt, that just seems like a waste of money. The biggest Kobe collection, and you're sitting there showing, and you walked with what I thought at the time was a gangster limp, but I later found out that it was hip surgery. So you went from rich douche with a ridiculous shirt and ridiculous cards to awesome guy with a backstory that didn't have a gangster limp, actually had hip surgery. I still didn't know about the shirt. But I'm kind of growing on me now. Yeah. $80 for a shirt. That seems.
We did. You're going to kill me?
Go ahead.
We did buy you a shirt.
Did you?
We did?
It better not be white with a hood on it.
No. We're out. Yeah, the replays are off. Yeah.
That's why I was gonna go get it, but it's like an inside joke, and you actually just made it outside. So let's rein that back in. You're not homeless anymore. Keep that inside, bro.
Yeah, that'll get you canceled on PWCC. Put that on. So let's wrap up with this. We've gone an hour and 3 minutes.
Where's he gonna be? He doesn't even.
I do have to go get my antigen test and my.
Are you still in South Korea?
Oh yeah, dude. This is where I live. Yeah, this is.
Hey, just so you know, I am actually coming to Dallas now.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh,
I'm flying in the 13th, leaving Sunday. He's not coming. I guess he's.
Oh, speaking of where you live, what does your Instagram handle mean? And everybody go follow Eric on Howley Hustle. Okay, let me just backstory. Tim is convinced that your Instagram handle has something to do with South Korea.
Let me explain before you answer. Am I wrong that there is something? So I was reading your name wrong. Isn't there something that has to do with war, either the Vietnam War or Korean War, where it was something Mary, like Hanoi Mary or something like that?
You thought your name was Hanoi Hustle.
No, it's Howley. So, and this is where it came from when I moved to Hawaii before I had an Instagram, right? Howley is a derogatory name that the locals of Hawaii call white people. It basically means one without a soul. It's just the soulless ghost, and it's really derogatory. It doesn't quite hold the negative connotation to the extent as an N word for Black people in America, right? But it's still
of course he would know, Kevin.
Right. So it's definitely a derogatory name, and it really used to get under my skin. Like it bothered me. So one day I realized, hey, just flip it, bro. Just embrace it, and I, as a joke, I made up my Instagram handle, and next thing you know, it blew up, and I was like, well, it is what it is, brother. You better learn to love it.
Yep.
So
and now
that's it. So I just took negative and turned it into a positive.
And now with our friends from Clubhouse, we're promoting the hell out of it, and we get all these followers. It's great.
So, well, mahalo.
Yeah, bro. And don't get me wrong, I love Hawaii. It's absolutely beautiful.
Dude, you said Hanoi hustle.
Yeah, but I said mahalo now.
Right, but you were
Do you know what that means?
You were like, yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Like, oh, it's from his name is Hanoi, from like a city in North Korea. South Korea. Have you ever been to North Korea?
No, when COVID loosens up, I'm going to go.
Dude, I could imagine Kim Jong being a pretty big basketball collector. The guy loves Dennis Rodman. Dude, you got bring in that Rodman jambalaya.
Yeah, I could sell him some nice, Dennis Rodman autos and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Could you imagine him bringing like?
I think I'm only like an hour and a half away from the demilitarized zone. DMZ.
Wait,
I feel like it's like a problem.
Is that really a dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
He's asking me if I'm going to be homeless. There's no way that's your dad.
No, yeah, Dad. Don't be a jerk. He's not going to be home. He's got a home now. My dad's in there razzing people in the chats. All right. Well, we'll let you get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us. And now you get to see.
I'm bringing leftovers for you, brother. I'm bringing leftovers for you, my boy.
You got anything to say to the people before you head out?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate everybody that follows me, and I'm absolutely flattered from everything that I've gained in this hobby and industry. It's been one of the greatest blessings and honors of my life. It really has.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. Unfortunately, I'm jealous. I'm not going to make it to Dallas, but Tim will be there, and I know you guys are going to have a good time. But I will see you in Vegas at the Mint, right?
Oh yeah, that's my goal. God willing, as long as I'm COVID clear, I'll be there.
Awesome, man. Well, if you hear from our boys at PWCC, I can't imagine you said anything to get you in trouble, but tell them send them our way if they got a problem.
Hey Tony, hey Jesse.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Well, that was Erik.
That was dope.
Yeah, he's so cool,
dude. It's
he's just so cool.
He's so cool. I know, and it's crazy because. So I think that we had a conversation. The reason why we asked Erik to come on, we know his stories, but we had such a good laugh. Was it like last week or a few days ago? And that's why we had to get Erik on here, because he is absolutely one of the most honest, the most transparent guy in the hobby, in my opinion, in terms of just like ups and downs. You can ask him any question. He's not going to BS you. I've never heard him not answer a question that wasn't related to work, because sometimes you just can't answer things.
Yeah, I mean, his story is like, it's a movie, and you're almost like, how? But he's so well like spoken, but he's also so like not pretentious about any of it, and he's not hiding anything, and he is who he is, and he doesn't care whether you like it or not. Like, take it or leave it. But there's nothing not to like, right? Like, I don't understand how anybody, unless you had like a like you thought a card was worth something and he didn't, maybe, you know what I mean? Like an arbitrary thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Erik's like someone that, right, if I had a Kobe auto, he's the one I'm going to ask, right? And if it's one of those situations where he's, Tim, maybe that's not a good one, but he's the person that you're going to want to ask anyway. So yeah, it is kind of like a thing. If Erik says it's worth this, then you can probably bank on it, But yeah, for me, once I really started learning about Erik, and when we met him, man, I honestly just knew him as the guy that would always talk about.
I'm not kidding you, dude. When I saw him, like, I remember sitting in the lobby in Dallas, and he was walking down. He had like Sasha T with him, and all these guys that I didn't really know any of them, but I thought like they're like the big dogs of the hobby.
Yeah,
little did I know that like the guy's approachable. I mean, if anybody sees him at a show, go talk to him. Like, he's unbelievably cool and unbelievably, humble in the fact of where he came from and where he is. And like, the guy loves cards. I mean, he just his knowledge and just knowing the ins and outs of every card that he owns, knows like what the provenance of all these cards are, is just.
He knows more about. He just like retains more information than honestly I know about myself.
Well, I'm telling you, like he can't retain all the stuff about.
Plus, he's got that voice too. I honestly want him to read like Beckett #1 to me before I fall asleep at night. You know what I mean? Just that ambient sounds of Eric Meyer's voice.
Unicorn hat.
Yeah, but
that I think they worked out. I mean, if we hear it in the chat, I think. I mean, if people want to chime in, should this be a regular thing? But you know what's the problem is? Like if you got up and like sat the headphones on the seat and then forgot.
Well, you know, that could cause a problem. We're gonna get banned. It's getting a little weird.
All right, guys in the chat. Sorry I didn't get to most of you, but
you didn't get to anyone.
All right. Well, I mean, all right. Cassie says no.
Yeah, let's just talk. What else are we doing here? Look at
more Bean Boozled. All right, there's one more for Tim.
All right, one Bean Boozled. Oh
no, don't take that one.
Why?
You don't want one that's on the floor.
What do you mean?
That's like dirty. All right.
Well, maybe your owner of operations or director of operations should vacuum the floor.
All right, we're gonna end on this.
All right, let's toast. Let's toast it. What can this be?
Pomegranate and Old Bandage.
I'm getting Old Bandage?
No, or you're getting peach or barf.
No, why would I get peach or barf though?
Come on.
I got peach, bro.
Oh my god, I fucking bet.
I got peach. Bro, turn
God!
All right, but turn this off though. I got peach.
Bye.